all over the place.
Guys, welcome to Real Talk. Good morning and thank you for joining us. My name is Jerry Miller. It's a pleasure to connect with you guys across the I Love CVille Network. Real Talk powered by the Yes Team Realtors. Keith Smith and Yonna Smith, not in studio today, but they've invited a tremendous panel to give you the knowledge, the education, and the insight that you crave here on Real Talk and Insider's Guide to Real Estate. Give it a like and share on any of the streams you're watching. Welcome Dan Blake, Sarah Hill-Buchinski, a lot of folks watching now. Let's go Judah Wickhauer, my friend. He's our director. He's behind the camera. He's got the hard job. I have the easy job. Let's go, my friend, to the studio camera, and let's welcome the panel to the show. Amanda LeMon, Zenas Choi, and Michael Guthrie.
Good morning.
On show. Good morning. Amanda, we will start with you. Ladies first.
Absolutely.
Introduce yourself to the audience. What makes you tick?
Yeah. First of all, Jerry, Michael, Keith, and Yonna, I know you're not here, but thank you so much for having us today.
Absolutely.
On behalf of YPN, Zenas and I are very excited to be here. So I'm Amanda LeMon. I am a transplant to the Charlottesville area. I was born and raised in Texas, just north of Houston, and kind of moved to Charlottesville unexpectedly. I went to a small school in Maryland, and when I was graduating or about to graduate, I wasn't exactly sure of my next steps, where I would be working, but concurrently with my last year of college, my parents decided that they were going to call Charlottesville home for retirement. So they bought a house in 2007, and I moved into it. So not the worst deal for a recent college grad. I did not know a single person when I moved here. But I became fast friends with people that I met at Fridays After 5 the week that I moved here.
Nice.
Also the week that I moved here, I got a job at Blue Light Grill, which is where we probably met many moons ago.
That's true.
And where I met, so it's current, or it was in the Fitzroy, where Fitzroy is right now, and I forged some of the best relationships of my life in that building. It's where I met my husband.
Nice.
It's where I met my best friends. And it's also where I met folks that introduced me to new construction in Charlottesville. So about 6 years of working at Blue Light, I decided to make the change into real estate and got a job with Stanley Martin Homes, and thus started my real estate career, where I've been in new construction ever since.
Fantastic answer.
Yeah, so it's long-winded, but you know.
No, it was great. And Blue
background.
Light certainly in its heyday was like the epicenter of so much like community and so much conversation and good food. I special memories there for a lot of us. Quentin Beckham, welcome to the program. Christopher Eagle, John White, hello. Zenas Choi. Z,
yeah.
My boy.
Yep, good morning.
Good morning. Anywhere you want to go, my friend?
Sure, so moved here also, transplant from Frisco, Colorado. So big snowboarding, skiing fan. Still involved with the wintergreen community very much so love it up in Nelson County. Wife's parents retired here. We followed them here. Came for a visit one Christmas and saw, just a little hippie, progressive, college, cool town. So packed up and moved out here. So it's been a really good transition. We love the wine here, the mountains. There's pretty much anything and everything here to do. So I'm current. I started off my career writing fortunes for fortune cookies. So. I'm just kidding. That was a joke. It was a family business, so I got really bored of that, writing the lucky numbers. Look at his face. Yeah. So writing those fortune cookies is super boring. So got out of that, got into insurance sales manager at Towe Insurance. Everyone knows Towe Insurance.
Oh, yeah.
Started by Forrest Towe, run by his sons James and Darden Towe, and currently by Beth Towe. So it's a family business, great family. it's a great place to be.
You insure my wife and I's
Yes,
vehicles.
yes, and I realize that. So yeah, we love working with our commercial clients. We do a lot of real estate development, contractors, IT companies, and then of course homeowners and auto and life insurance. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at right now, and I've been on the YPN committee with Amanda. And our crew there, love working with the car people, and especially with AHIP as well. Love working with on those projects and with that organization as well. So,
Quentin says hello, Amanda and Zenas. We're gonna get Michael Guthrie in the mix. Your buddy James Tisicordanos. I'm messing up his last name. He says Zenas.
yeah.
Rick Tamburino said the same thing on my feed. Yeah.
Alice Bielstein says, go Z, go. James Wallace says, let Zenas talk, damn it. Jessica Russo in the house. Nicole in the house from Millie Joe's. A lot of folks watching right now. This guy I love, Michael Guthrie. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Talk to us about Michael Guthrie. I think all of us know, but for those that don't.
Well, I got to start out with going back to Towe Insurance because Darden Towe was a dear friend of mine when I lived in Charlottesville before. I came here to UVA in '71, and we left in '83. But after I finished college, I went to work for an organization called Young Life and was the first area director here in Charlottesville. And Darden was a great supporter of what I was doing. His kids were involved at Young Life. From Charlottesville High School, and just such a great guy. I mean, I'm so glad that park is named after him. It was well deserved. He used to live over off of, I think it was North Street off of Park Street, and he actually had a little park behind his house that we used to play football on, and the Covenant kids, before they had their own fields, my daughter played field hockey on that field. And anyway, great family, Sandy and Alan, his kids, great folks. So. Got a lot of good memories of that. But I came back to Charlottesville in 2005. Unlike these guys, they followed parents. We kind of followed my daughter, interestingly enough. My daughter, Becca, who was the only child that we had that wasn't born in Charlottesville, made the decision to come back here for high school. And she decided to go to Covenant. So after her 8th grade year, she moved in with some of our best friends her freshman year. She loved it. We ended up buying a little townhouse behind Covenant on Birdwood Court, and we affectionately called it the Chick House. And that's where Dottie and Becca lived for the next 3 years while she finished at school. And I commuted back and forth from Northern Virginia, where I was in real estate. And she graduated, and Dottie and I both looked at it and said, what do we do now? Because we were totally reconnected and rooted back in Charlottesville. I helped start Trinity Presbyterian back in 1976, and so we were totally re-rooted back in that church. And Becca was off to the University of Georgia, and we're sitting there going, now what do we do? So we just kind of hung out for a year, kind of did the same thing, and then thankfully Roy Wheeler Realty Company came a knocking and asked me to consider becoming the broker and the CEO of the company. So I took the reins over in the fall of 2005 and have been doing that ever since.
I love it. I love it. You got to know the panel a little bit from a personal side. Let's talk shop. It is a real estate show. Stanley Martin, crushing it. We had, who was it? We had Greg Slater of Nest Realty Group on the show yesterday.
Yep.
And he put a top 5 together of builders who are doing the most transactions, new construction. I believe Ryan Holmes was at the top of that list, and Stanley Martin firmly in the 2 slot on that list. You guys are crushing it. Talk to us about Stanley Martin, please.
Sure. So we are a builder in town, and we have products that we have townhome products to kind of help fill the affordability aspect. We have villa products that we have seen great success in, and so we build east of town in Spring Creek, west of town in Crozet, and then just south of town, we just opened our villa community in Avinity Estates. So that's been pretty successful for us. We've got a couple projects that'll be coming on in the next couple of years to really help Charlottesville to continue to grow.
I've been really impressed with the success we've had at Whittington and at Oak Hill.
Yep.
Oak Hill, right around the corner for me in Redfields,
Yeah.
I think feel like sold out 80-some roughly in like 2 years.
Yep.
Super impressive. Zenas, I know, Z, that YPN, near and dear to your heart.
Yeah.
Spotlight, YPN, you're involved as well.
Yep.
For all the folks that are watching. how we can involve, what you guys stand for, what you guys do.
Sure. So the YPN obviously stands for the Young Professional Network. We use that term very lightly. Young, it could be young in the business, you could be young at heart, or literally young. So we really welcome all people that are in real estate to the community. It's really about educating the realtors, getting them involved with networks that help them grow as a realtor, understanding what's going on in the market. So all our events are geared towards that, as well as geared towards RPAC, which is the Political Action Committee. So it's just a great organization that I love being a part of. All of our events usually end up, we always end up donating something to a nonprofit.
I thought you were going to say all the events usually end up at a happy hour.
Sometimes
they are a happy hour. They are a happy hour.
Sometimes
they
that happens.
They start and end as a happy hour.
Right. It is a happy hour. Yeah. So it's a perpetual happy hour. So, but yeah, we always end up donating to something, to some nonprofit in the community. There's so many deserving ones here in our community. So it's a great organization. I welcome anyone that's not even in real estate. I'm not in real estate. I'm in insurance. So to come and network with some of these professionals that are stars, rising stars, people that are really know a lot about the community and real estate.
Michael.
So I'm so excited about the Young Professional Network, as well as a lot of different organizations at CAR, Charlottesville Area Association of Realtors. Another one is the Women Council of Realtors, which started in 2009 when I was president of the association. Teely Jennifer came from Chicago and broached it, and we got that started, and now it's one of the finest chapters that they have, not only in the state, but around the country, I think. But then Young Professional Network, the same thing. And the reason I really like it is because a lot of people don't understand that CAR has an affiliate membership. And to me, and anybody listening, and I know you have lots of listeners that are in small businesses and trying to get themselves up and running, that is the best money investment you can make in regards to getting yourself connected with an organization and a group of people. I forget what it costs. You can reach out to Tiffany over at CAR, and she can walk you through that. But the access to 1,300 realtors, and then the affiliate members that are already in place, and where these things really come together is in these places like Young Professional Network and Women Council of Realtors and others. And but the biggest thing I love is that not only is there the networking that goes on, but the giving back. And this is just another great aspect of Charlottesville. You think about CVille Gives. It's similar to what they're doing. CVille Gives. They get together. They have a good time. They contribute some money, and at the end of the year, they make a big donation to something. Whereas just a little bit from each one, going to lots of different places, may not have the same impact. Well, the same thing is happening with YPN, in regards to Angel Tree. They do an unbelievable job at Christmas time, making sure kids have that. And I know you had Tom Powell on recently with Toy Lift, and they do an amazing job. And it just shows how much need there is out there. But then again, RPAC, the Realtor Political Action Committee, which, as you know, with my radio show, I talk about Real Estate Matters, and Real Estate Matters in a lot of different places. And Young Professional Network is another great example of that, it impacts all aspects of our community. So people come together in Young Professional Network, and also very involved with AHIP. Albemarle Housing Improvement. I continue to be amazed at how many YPN members are there on build days, representing their companies, but also representing YPN in doing good and giving back to the community. And we've talked about it a lot. We live in a great town.
We do.
Of generosity and of people giving back, and Young Professional Network is a great example of that.
Amanda, I'm going to ask you why you like YPN and the impact it's having in the community. Let me thank some of our sponsors. Bill Tucker's Charlottesville Settlement Company, thank you for being a part of this program. Hairsmith & Company, thank you for being a part of this program. And our newest presenting sponsor, the Pearl Certification. Thank you for joining us here on Real Talk. Welcome Chris Jensen to the program. You're getting a lot of props on your page from folks like Thomas Maddox, am I saying that right? Marie Poole,
Yes.
Melissa Ford, Elise Vandover, Ross Schiller. James has got a joke for you. James Wallace. He who puts his face in fruit drink gets punch in nose. He wanted me to relay that to you, Z.
Thanks, Jay.
James, thank you for watching the program. What is it about the Young Professionals Network that you like, Amanda?
Yeah, so when I first got involved with the Young Professionals Network, I was only in the industry for probably 2 years. And kind of to piggyback on what Zenas has said about how we define young, I think one of the best things about this group is that you have new agents and you have seasoned agents. And one thing that, you know, that I think is really important as you kind of grow and become and grow as an agent is to not forget what it is like to be new.
Right. Well said.
Because when you...
It ain't easy.
It ain't easy. Real estate is its own language, and then different aspects of real estate kind of have their own dialects, if you will. People are speaking in acronyms, and it can be very confusing. And so YPN provides this environment and this space where those that are new to the industry can feel safe asking their questions, and seasoned agents can share their experiences, because that's kind of how you learn. And so that's one of my favorite things about it, is that just this collaboration of experience and being able to ask questions and grow.
I love it. I love it. Chris Jensen, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. Logan Foster, Nest Realty, Roy Wheeler, Real Estate 3, Ray Cadell and Associates. We have, I think, 6 firms now watching the program. Zenas, jump in the mix. Anywhere you want to go. I think one of the aspects of, you know, everyone at this table, you have the gift of human connection. I feel like if you enter a room, you're going to be able to connect with folks, make the room a little bit brighter, a little bit more positive. You probably love interacting with people. That's probably why you went into a sales-oriented type role. Talk about anywhere you want to go, Charlottesville, and how it applies to your gift of human connection.
Sure. So, insurance is probably the last place that I ever thought that I would be in. What I do like about it is it's so connected to so many different parts of the community, people's lives, and especially obviously real estate. Some of the things that come up that in that, insurance and real estate that come up to me most often are quest plumbing, things like that, vacant homes. Do you need earthquake?
Oh, I would love to know about Quest Plumbing.
Oh, yeah.
1993 Redfield's home with Quest Plumbing. Please tell me about Quest Plumbing, okay?
Right. So, so it could, I've encountered a few different schools of thought on that. It could be bad, it could be good. It really just depends on, I guess, what the fittings are in terms of.
I got the
So I guess you can,
Is it the brass ones?
Right.
Yeah.
That's the better, obviously. And then there's obviously the older ones that tend to fail. So I've literally have seen things not happen, and then things are, kind of go south. So, but yeah, so in terms of the insurance, there's definitely products and services that can help with that for sure. And then we get a lot of questions on, we had the earthquake 2011, I think. So we're not, certainly in a place that is very active, but that's something that comes up, especially if you have a lot of brick veneer, masonry home, things like that. So.
You get that flood insurance question a lot?
I do sometimes. There's, Charlottesville's we're in the least likely probable, FEMA's least likely place to have a flood. It's
But
like
you're saying we're in the mountains.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. There's weird pockets of like flood areas that are behind people's houses that the dwelling doesn't sit on, so it's not a real problem. Obviously, Waynesboro, some certain places of Scottsville, there's areas for that. So I don't really get that question too much, but just talk to your mortgage person, and then the FEMA map always has that kind of information before you buy your house. But no, Charlottesville, obviously really active in real estate. Love all the building that's going on right now is just really, really thoughtful. I really enjoy the architecture, and just everything that they're doing is really, top notch. So.
Great answer. Arlene Yob says, hey, Amanda. Greg Slater is watching. So by that count, we have 2 former car presidents and a former car president right here on the show or watching the show. Where
Let
do you want
me
to go?
piggyback on what Zenas just talked about as it relates to the FEMA and the flood maps and stuff. Yeah, it's not as big a deal here in Charlottesville, but going back to what we talked about before, the advocacy. A lot of people think of real estate as, realtors, buying and selling, helping people buy and sell real estate, which of course that's what we do. But we also are a very strong advocate for home ownership and for property rights. And this is a great example that a couple of years ago, the flood maps were in total disarray. Outdated, 100-year floodplains had changed, whether it's global warming, and we're not going to get into that, but whether it's that or other things, people are having water issues that they never had before. And so the realtor community, not only locally, statewide, nationally, went and lobbied hard, and we got that passed, legislation passed for money, and now just recently, I guess, Zenas, in the last month or two, the new maps were released. It was just on one of the local news channels recently talking about this change, and it is something that each property owner needs to look at and to understand, because we've had a couple deals blow up where somebody thought they were going to buy a house, and then they found out the house was within a floodplain, and it was in the city of Charlottesville. And what happens then is you have to pay flood insurance, and it can be pretty significant number that totally caused the buyer to not be able to qualify anymore. So it is something that's really important, both as professional realtors, making sure that your properties are not located in those places, and if they are, making sure you've got the information so that you don't get caught like that and have people moving out of their house and then finding out the buyer can't buy it anymore.
Rachel Burns, welcome to the show of RE/MAX. She says, hi guys, thank you for
Hello.
representing YPN. Give it a like and a share on any of the streams that you're watching. We have questions coming in for both you guys.
Great.
I will get to these questions. This question's coming from Tim, who lives in Whittington. Happy with our home in Whittington. I'm curious, as you scale and get larger, Stanley Martin, how do you maintain the quality of the construction? That's a good question.
That's a great question. So I think as we grow, with the amount of homes that we build, we grow our team members. So there are more hands on deck. And we have created positions to help follow up, not just through the building process, but after. So warranty is a big part of purchasing a new home. So we want to make sure that we are keeping up with anything that may arise. So we've created a position for that in the area. So that's helpful. And then I think also implementing systems to create and implement systems as you grow. You can't always have the same systems. They don't always work for the same amount of volume. So we are working on that and implementing those things.
Sarah Hill-Buczynski, a realtor with Roy Wheeler. Question that goes into your funnel. Speaking of flood zones, I've actually been surprised with how many properties I have run into that mortgages require flood insurance, from Fry Springs to Crozet. She wants to spotlight this a little bit more and the insight that you could provide on the topic.
Sure. Interesting. I haven't seen that come up too often in Fry Spring, and it always ultimately comes up to the bank. It also usually the mortgage company will require it, and then one of the things to look at is the.
Why wouldn't all of them require it?
Only if it's in
flood zone.
Yeah. The current owner sometimes will have a flood certificate that can transfer to the new owner. And so that's something that they can kind of stay ahead of the game and ask the current owner about those certificates. That helps with the transition, as well as being, staying ahead of the sale too, in terms of understanding, is this going to be something that, is going to come at closing or even before that. So, but I haven't seen that too much in Crozet or Fry Spring. So I'll be interested in seeing what there's weird little pockets. So I'll be interested in seeing what addresses she has for those.
Sounds like a cup of coffee or lunch with
Yeah.
Sarah Buczynski.
What's the favorite part of your job, Zenas? And you're getting some props here. Heather Letters Gately. Just giving you props. Says you look great. You sound great, Amanda.
Heather.
Zenas, you're getting props from Dawn Lotz. She says Z. We have 5 different states watching right now. We have a number of real estate agents watching. Your favorite part of your job?
So it's definitely the people. I really enjoy working with just the families in Charlottesville. There's some really quality people that we work with, and insurance can be super mundane. Like, it's not exactly the most sexiest thing that people want to talk about all day. But what I do like about it is I'm totally ingrained in their whole life. And so I've got business owners that I'm doing all their personal stuff, all of their business stuff. They text me, call me, email me. And it's really like, high-fiving each other all day, grabbing lunch. It's really just about more of a family thing. And so that's why I love working with Towe Insurance. We're a family-owned company, third-generation owned company by Beth. So it's just been, that's probably my favorite part about it. So
I love going into Towe because they know your name. They actually send me emails when, hey, this is coming due. Come in here and pay it. Okay, take the check in hand.
Right.
45 days after the bill.
It's like, this is coming due. Come in here and pay it. It feels like home almost.
Yeah, it's got a cool feel. I really enjoy the people I work with, and literally, I'm texting people all the time about. They're always asking me questions, random stuff. Hey, I got this, I got that, and it's just a cool family feel. So I love that.
Where you want to go, Michael?
I think what I'd love for you guys to talk just real quickly about, again, bringing it back to YPN. We're at a transition at CAR, good transition. Ann has headed south toward the beach, and
president,
and we've got a new president who I'm very excited about. I put her hat in the ring as soon as I heard that. I said, "We don't need a search. Abby is the right person." I mean, I knew they had to do a search, but there was no doubt in my mind that Abby was the right person to take over. And just talk about, from a YPN standpoint, the support that you've gotten from the local association and in helping you, really get it started to where it is now, because it's only been 2 years?
We started in 2015.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay, 4 years. So
yeah,
that's what happens when you get old. It just goes too fast. But talk about that, because I know it's been a huge. Ann and everybody there, and now Abby, tremendously supportive of what y'all are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, congratulations, Abby. Excited for you. And then Ann was, and still continues to be, a fantastic support of the Young Professionals Network. So she was kind of the, her and Rachel Burns, who is our current chair of YPN. Thank you, Rachel. She actually kind of put the bug in my ear to kind of rejuvenate this Young Professionals Network that CAR had and that maybe needed some more consistency. So Ann kind of took me under her wing, and we went to a leadership retreat that they host annually in Chicago. And so you get 2.5 days of training and kind of get to understand nationally what Young Professionals Network is, and then so you can bring it back locally. And from the beginning, the association has been wildly supportive. And so it's grown from, having just a couple events to having one event every month. We have grown from having a board liaison and me planning events to an entire board for the Young Professionals Network. So it's been so exciting to see it grow. And they've kind of just let us kind of throw spaghetti at the wall to see what works.
What sticks?
Yeah.
Or water balloons at each other.
Or water balloons at each other, exactly.
See if they break.
For those that don't know, we have an annual event called Wet and Wild that is to raise money for RPAC, and it is a hoot. It's a lot of fun. So they've really been supportive, because when you go to these leadership retreats, you understand that that's not the situation across the country. There are different associations where YPNs do not necessarily get the support of the board, and
why is that?
Very, I don't know. We try to.
Sounds like a no-brainer.
We need to foster an environment of learning for those that will, be leaders in the future.
Right.
So providing the education to our members is paramount.
Quick follow-up to Zenas, in regards to what Amanda just talked about and what I talked about earlier on. Amanda is an affiliate, in one sense, but
sure.
she's sort of on both sides. Whereas Zenas, you really are an affiliate. And I talked about, to me, best bang for your buck. I'm hoping you're going to agree with me, because I'm leaving this open-ended. But talk about the benefits of being an affiliate at CAR for people that may not have known that they could do that.
One of our clients, Interstate Pest and Service Companies, is an affiliate. Another one of our clients, Dominion Custom Homes.
Yep, both of them.
Of
Yep.
John Kerber, an affiliate. So there's a lot of affiliates that aren't in the game. They're in the game, but not in the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, I love CAR. I love my membership there. So there's lots of organizations to be in this town, and lots of memberships to be in. For CAR, it's such a great, not only a great value, dollar wise, but it's a great value in terms of specialization. And then being in town here. There's not a ton of industry, but I would say that probably the biggest mover and shaker of industry here is real estate. And so being around those
That's pretty
people,
impressive when you think about UVA.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I think it's certainly one of them.
that's a scissor reel.
Michael Guthrie. Write that down, Judah.
Well, not everyone in Charlottesville has their driver's license, but everyone has their real estate license. So.
That's true in Marco Island, Florida, by the way. When you go across the bridge, they check your ID.
Undoubtedly, the two
That's
most
the
competitive
license.
categories in Charlottesville, I think, are real estate and restaurants.
Yeah.
By
absolutely.
far. Sorry, not to interrupt you.
Oh no. So yeah, no, it's a great organization. I really enjoy. And then my draw too is personal too. My father was a realtor forever, and I saw him succeed. I saw him fail. I saw him go through so many things. I've cleaned houses for him. So being around the community,
Wrote fortune cookies for him.
Yeah, I graduated to stuffing the fortune cookies, and gosh, that family business is tough.
See, you are a funny dude, man.
So, but yeah, no, it's a great. Everyone, the affiliate membership is a great part of CAR that they allow us to do that and be able to be a part of the community and
Yeah,
thrive
absolutely.
in there. So yeah.
We got some people that have some comments. This is from Rachel Burns. Amanda, you rocked YPN. We wouldn't be where we are without you. It's from
thanks.
Rachel Burns. Ray has this. This is an interesting topic. I feel like this could be a topic for a show. Ray Cadell. I appealed the flood zone designation on my own home. I'm near the river, but 50 feet above it. PETA. It saved a lot of money for me. I don't know what he's saying about PETA, but he's saying it saved a lot of money for me. So and we have other folks coming in about the flood zone.
I think you need a whole show on that.
It sounds like this could be a whole show.
This is gonna be a
Bellamy
good
Brown,
panel.
welcome to the show. Charlottesville City Hall, welcome to the program. Thank you for watching. Michael, my friend, jump in here.
Again, as we're talking about flood insurance, Bellamy being on, running for the city council. Talk from your all's perspective, because you are involved in CAR, you go to the meetings and things like that. Jerry's been on my radio show. I've been here almost every week. By the way, you get a shout out on my radio show because we're talking about different things like. I'm trying to think of who. Corbin was just on my show.
I saw that.
Yeah, and he had been on your show, and I thought, you know what, he'd be a good guy to have on, and it was a great show. But the point being is. On my show a few weeks ago, I talked about the fact that affordable housing has been something that has been talked about for a good long while. And Jerry, you and I have talked about this before.
Especially post A12.
Right. Well, and that's exactly what I was going to say. That 2 years ago, miserable experience. Both you and I believe that our community is a better place than that's happened because there are people that are getting engaged now that weren't engaged before because they want to make sure it never happens again. That's right. And one of the places that I think there's real benefit is affordable housing. And I know Keith and Yonna talk about this on the show a great deal. But from a young professional network standpoint, I truly believe we're at a tipping point where we're not talking about it anymore, but real live things are happening. And Amanda, in regards on the builder side and insurance side, talk about how Young Professional Network is sort of getting their arms around that. I know it's going to be a commitment to Abby, from Abby. I've talked to Tom and Telia, the officers at CAR. But how do we move forward so that we make sure, and again, Bellamy or Michael or whatever, in regards to being in the conversation about getting things rezoned so that it doesn't have to be one house, it can be 4 units. And Jerry, we've talked about that before, but what are your guys' thoughts as it relates to that,
I love this
coming
topic.
from a different perspective?
I mean, I don't know if we've really talked about that's a really great point because I don't know if we've kind of talked about that at our meetings and or have any events around that. So that's definitely something that we can focus on.
My guess
in the
is, though,
future.
you do have members that are on like the public affairs group at CAR in one sense or another. And maybe I'll just toss it out and you guys can take it back. Because I think there needs to be continued push, especially in regards to this rezoning thing. Chris Henry from Stony Point and Jody Mills are going to be on my show tomorrow. And we talk about this in regards around the Dairy Central. And how do they know they're going to impact that neighborhood in a good way.
Yep.
They're going to be people that are going to have
I live
jobs.
there.
Yep.
Are you 10th Page?
I'm 10th Page.
Nice.
Oh,
That's
wow,
a great
no
spot.
kidding. Yeah.
I love Peloton Station.
Oh, so yummy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Curtis Shaver.
Well, it's interesting. When I was in the hospital in March and April, my son JM, who watches the show from time to time, he fell in love with that place.
That place is great.
Every day, he said, "I'm going to get sandwiches," and he would bring sandwiches
Peloton,
back.
yeah,
He wouldn't go anywhere else. That's where he went. But the point being is, there are going to be people now that have jobs where they can walk to them. They're not going to have to deal with transportation and those kinds of things, and hundreds of jobs, part-time, full-time, that kind of thing. But at the same time, it's going to impact property values and real estate taxes and things like that. So I do think it is something that, especially with YPN being involved with RPAC, the Realtor Political Action Committee, it's time for all of us to step up as realtors or members of, again, one of the significant industries in the marketplace and put that pressure on to make sure those things happen.
I agree, and I think we are all relatively, the three of us, in the same demographic, and we can speak about the challenges perhaps firsthand as opposed through the YPN moniker or the YPN lens, about the challenges of purchasing real estate in a market like this, where it's so competitive and the costs are so high. Z, jump in here, my friend.
Yeah, I wish that we really in the YPN lens, we haven't really broached that subject that much. It's been more about realtor education and support. But I think that obviously I see it in the news. I know there's plenty of organizations out there that are working towards that. And then I hear things, but like you said, I mean, what types of things are you saying that there's actually live things happening now, like actual?
Yeah, I mean, in fact, right now, the reason Keith's not here is he's sitting in an all-day meeting.
Just put a comment about this.
Yeah, he's a full-day regional housing partnership where he's got all these different, stakeholders in the room talking about these very things. But the talking is the one thing, the doing is the other. And so examples are Nassau.
The land trust. I love the land trust model.
Land trust, you've got Nassau Street where you've got houses being built and leasing the land so that people can, literally get into a house in the mid-200s. You've got...
they're buying the house and not the land, which makes the price point more affordable.
Right. You got Southwood that just got approved. I mean,
Dan
it
Rosenzweig.
was a little crazy. And there was a little curveball for a week or so, but they got that approved. So that whole Southwood mobile home park is going to become a habitat community. They did an amazing job in Sunrise, and that was really helpful to the neighbors in Southwood to see that nobody did get displaced. Friendship Court. What Piedmont Housing Alliance is doing with that is absolutely fantastic. And it's another situation where people are not going to be displaced. People are going to have a better lifestyle and be in a position to be able to work at all these jobs around.
And it's totally, without question, a byproduct of the conversations being started post-August 12th. Conversations that perhaps were not on the radar because everybody was like, happiest, best city in America. Let's just keep the train going in the right direction. Where the train going in the right direction was good for a lot of folks, but not necessarily good for everyone in the marketplace.
Absolutely.
So that's what's happening now. I would think, and I'm just throwing this out there, 4 people and blue light spitball and talking about real estate here.
Sure.
I would think this would be a phenomenal topic for YPN.
Yep.
Z, I mean, Corey Best says, "What a man! You're killing on the show right here." Talk to us a little bit about the your I'll throw it to you first.
Okay.
10th Page.
Okay.
Your process of going through home ownership in Charlottesville.
So I think, personally, I was not involved in the purchase of my home.
Okay.
But I can speak to the purchase of the home because
Yeah.
my husband did it.
Okay.
So he bought the house in 2006 and needed to totally renovate the home. And so that was a 4-year process. But I am not a realtor in a sense that I work in a variety of areas. I am very specific to one location, but I do hear a lot of the times that the options are limited for folks when regards to resales, and so that does kind of push them towards new construction, possibly racing the price and having the budget or needing the budget to increase, which isn't available to
Sure.
everyone. So I do hear that a lot.
That's totally what's happening.
Yeah.
New construction is impacting this market big time, and that people want the new and shiny thing, which really puts pressure on folks like us who own a home in 1993 in Redfields that are looking to sell to really maintain and make sure it looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, I think the other part of that too is, again, going to 10th and Page is a great example of what's happening there, and people who want to buy in there, first time, second time home buyers, they can't buy because investors are coming in and paying cash
Totally.
to speculate in that situation. And the good news is, in my opinion, that prices have gotten to a place where the investors have kind of quieted down a little bit because they feel like it's gotten to a place where they
It's
can't.
too high.
It doesn't.
There's no margin left for them to flip.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So the good news about that is that the first and second
That's
time
a
home
great
buyers who
point.
need a loan and couldn't compete against the cash offer are having an opportunity. And so what you hope happens in that situation is it really does become homeowner family communities versus just rentals. And again, University of Virginia slowly but surely has begun to provide more student housing. Just in the news this week, they finished, it was Bond is the name of the dorm over off of Brandon Avenue. That's housing 340, I think, second-year students. And what that's doing is taking the pressure off of 14th Street and,
Totally.
and 11th Street and 12th Street and whatever, so that hopefully, as people do that, people can go in and buy those, renovate them, and they can become a family community again. And nothing against the students being there, but there's plenty of places where students to live.
That does
but
terrify the MSCs of the world.
Yep, absolutely.
The MSCs are terrified that they're losing to potential 2,000 rentals
No,
out of the market. I'm curious how that's going to impact the market. That's definitely a topic for another day. Rachel says affordable housing is a huge topic. I'll have Rob Alley, our 2020 chair, added to the agenda. Robert Alley is watching right now. So is John Keefe. Thank you for joining us. 10th and Page is such an interesting neighborhood because 10th and Page now versus, say, 10, 15 years ago is completely different. 10th and Page was historically an African-American neighborhood. And now you go down 10th and Page, those really bright, colorful houses are not cheap.
Right.
We're talking a nice price tag on it.
There's
I think that Chris Henry and Dairy Market and Dairy Central are really tremendously going to impact that area with the high dollar condos that are going to be built there. That's going to have a trickle over effect with assessments and potentially price out other residents in that neighborhood because of the tax exposure that comes from that trickle over effect. Throw that topic to you.
So let me respond to that quickly,
Yeah.
because you and I have talked about that before. There needs to be a discussion about people who have lived in those houses for generations and not having to bear the brunt of that. And I know that's a big topic, but
You're saying grandfathered in, potentially sheltered tax
but
exposure?
they've owned the house for X amount of time. I think there should be okay, this is what your taxes are right now. They're never going to change from here. And the people that want to buy the house next door that is now going to be twice as much as what you paid for your house, they bear the brunt of the new tax assessment. But the other thing I just wanted to say before you answer is that Greg Slater just made a great point. Greg and Keith Smith both are doing this Nassau Street project, and they want to host YPN there. They want to do an open house and have YPN come and see exactly what they're doing so that you can really see live and firsthand what's going on.
Great idea.
Yeah.
You're going to handle that topic?
Oh, dear.
I love this. What are you thinking, Amanda? And see, jump in here too.
Let me ask it a different way for you. Maybe this will help you. You guys are absolutely the young professional network, whereas when I come to YPN, I'm more the young at heart part of that.
Young in spirit.
Yeah. What are your friends experiencing? The younger friends in regards to wanting to live in a place fairly close to the city and that kind of thing, and
Can they afford to buy?
Yeah, exactly.
As a single person, probably not.
How about the rents?
Equally as high, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no secret that, wealth creation is through equity. And so having that, home ownership dangled in front of their face. They're faced with student loan, everything, all of the factors, and then put on top of it not being able to, where they thought they would be able to buy. We moved from a resort community in Colorado, Summit County, Colorado, home to Vail Resorts, Copper Mountain, Breckford, all those places, super expensive, second home, mostly a second home owner type of community. We thought, we're going to go to Charlottesville, so much cheaper.
And get like
It
a
wasn't.
4,000 square
It
foot
wasn't.
home.
It was
right.
equally as expensive.
Exactly.
So we're thinking, oh my gosh, like here's a second. This is almost becoming that second homeowner type of criteria to get into the market. So yeah, they're all saying that it's difficult. Entry into the home market is definitely hard, especially when they thought they could do that.
And especially when they work in this area, they also want to live
Right.
in this area and be
course.
connected. And that, I think, I have a handful of friends that are single that are finding it difficult, that want to own a home. They don't necessarily want to rent. So they're finding it difficult to find something that they wouldn't have to renovate. It's
The whole axiom
package.
of drive till you qualify
Right.
certainly applies in this market.
Yeah.
And what I'm seeing with some of my friends here is they're going to Waynesboro, they're going to Fluvanna, they're going to the lake,
Green.
they're going to Greene
Yeah.
County,
Yep.
and they're buying something that they can afford, and starting that home equity savings account. Despite them wanting to be less reliant on transportation and closer to the downtown mall and the epicenter of employment, which is the city of Charlottesville. I think this place, I'm going to throw this to you, Michael. I think this place, and I'm torn on this. As someone, and one of our clients just tuned in, Dr. Wagner, Scott
Yeah,
Wagner. welcome
who's
to the
got
show.
your back?
Who's got your back? Okay, so I'm torn on this. As someone who owns an advertising agency, I love that the marketplace is thriving and that the economy is strong and it's doing extremely well, and there's a ton of disposable income here for people to spend on advertising, okay?
Right.
As a father of a 17-month-old, I want my son to grow up in a community that is eclectic and diverse and has different perspectives, and I'm concerned that Charlottesville is eventually going to turn into this bastion of, I'm going to cut straight to the point, of like white wealthy people. I'm very concerned about that, similar to what we're seeing in like a San Francisco. Throw that topic out there. I know you have a lot of perspective on this topic.
I do, and it is it's a sensitive hot topic. I personally don't believe that's going to happen, and in all honesty, I don't think it's going to happen because of the conversations that are going on around the city, and people are wanting to figure this thing out. You look at the population that's in Charlottesville, and in all honesty, the percentage of white Caucasians is diminishing. Hispanics, Asian, African has increased. Now, the key to that is that you have to be able to make everybody feel like they're welcome, make everybody feel like they're included, and I believe those things are happening in regards to. I mean, even I just read in the paper this morning. The candidate, O'Rourke is his name?
Yeah, Beto, he's coming to Champion.
He's coming to Champion, but
Yeah.
he's also going to be at the Jefferson School.
Yeah. Mhm.
And he's going to be at the Jefferson School with a community panel to
Yeah,
hear
with
about
Amy
what's going
Lawfer.
on. So that's exactly right. And so those kinds of things are happening that I don't really believe were happening 2 years ago, even 5 years ago.
Well, I think-
and so I think that's it's causing people to have those conversations and want to make it better than it is.
Z,
Yeah.
jump in here.
So yeah, I am not white, so I hope that doesn't happen. So I don't see it happening either. I think Mr. Guthrie's exactly right. So there's
See?
lots of
Mr.
great.
Guthrie.
Yeah.
I caught that. Smack in the
I
forehead.
call you Michael or MG.
I think there's a lot of great initiatives, a lot of great groups that are talking about this. Quentin Harrell's talking about it. There's a lot of people that are. We have a lot of great assets here, and a lot of smart people, and so I'm on board with you that I think that there's a lot of great movement in the direction that's not going to happen.
I'm
So,
curious of what you want Amanda Charlottesville to look like yourself.
Oh, my goodness.
And family. Do you have kids?
I do not.
Okay, as a wife, as family. Michael Buchensky, welcome to the program. Power Group today, Z Money, Amanda, Guthrie, you guys are standing great. That's from Michael Buchensky of First Heritage Mortgage. I love this town so much. Been here since 2000, came here as a first year at UVA. A lot of the identity of the business is called I Love CVille. So I just want like the social entrepreneur. You can run a business in the black, but still do it in a way that you're leaving the footprint that you're in better than when you first arrived. What do you want Charlottesville to look like 10, 15 years from now?
One of inclusivity and of acceptance and yeah, that's a loaded question. I feel like a little bit. Yeah, I would, hope to have a family one day, and we have stayed in Charlottesville because we love it. We love this area. When we travel, we come back here and are grateful that we get to live here.
Same.
Let
me help you, because I know you're
I'm struggling
you're
a little bit over here.
Yeah. It is a whole deal. It's a whole package. So like VHDA now has a program that does tax credits. So we changed the tax where if you don't file a Schedule C, you can get the automatic, $12,000 standard deduction. So people say,
Right.
well, I don't need to buy a house anymore because I don't need to worry about the mortgage interest deduction, which in some ways could be true depending on what price range you're in. But what VHDA has done, again, trying to help people, is they've created a tax credit. So when you do a VHDA loan, and you do say it's a 5% on a $200,000 house, that's $10,000. There's $190,000 of the interest that you pay. You get a dollar for dollar tax credit for as long as you have that mortage. That's better.
It's a no-brainer.
That's better than a mortgage interest deduction, right?
Yeah.
So just moving forward with that, a good friend of mine, and this hit me smack in the face. We're talking about this whole aspect of white privilege and having things that other people don't. And he made an analogy that I'd never heard before, but man, I'll never forget. He said, Michael, you, being a white person, have been passing go for generations
Totally
and collecting $200. Me, as an African American, who this person was, said we've only been on a monopoly table since 1960 something. So it's only been 50 years. And therefore, we have so far to catch up. And so whether it's a tax credit or whether it's affordable housing or whether it's community roundtables or whatever the case may be, we got to get people into home ownership because it still is, in all honesty, the best way to build wealth.
A microcosm of exactly of what you're saying is Vinegar Hill in Charlottesville, where city government chose to destroy an African-American neighborhood that was home to home ownership and African-American businesses, and take the community and put them in friendship court, creating a generational impact. And there's organizations like the New Hill Development Company, the corporation, Yolanda Harrell, who's the CEO, she's come on this show. She took $500,000 of taxpayer money, and she is allocating to building educational infrastructure for the African American community in the city of Charlottesville to educate folks that are impoverished or struggling financially on not only how to make money, but how to grow and build wealth. Because there's a difference between making $1 and then taking that dollar and turning it into $3. And to your point, one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life was purchasing a condo in 2008.
Southern Villa, right?
The villas at Southern
Villa,
Ridge.
Southern
The
Ridge.
worst possible time to buy. Literally lost in 18 months $50,000 of equity. Almost felt like overnight. Yep. But rented it to my the story. Rented it to my buddies because that's how I could afford the mortgage. And was able to pay the mortgage that is now paid off, and we're dumping it into other real estate. So to your point, buying real estate is undoubtedly what you need to do to create generational wealth. We have so many folks watching right here, and we filled an hour. I want to throw something to you. I think we should do the speed round. Ooh. And you said you have questions for me on the speed round? Okay. So
why
don't we get
what
Devin
kind of questions?
No, let's start with him. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's give an example.
All right.
So I have two questions for Jerry.
Please.
The first one is, obviously I follow you. We cross-pollinate as much as we can. How in the world, I know you're going to say, you can't answer the question, I play racquetball 6 days a week. You can't. How do you stay so skinny when you eat the stuff that you eat on a regular basis?
So
I look at the things he eats on Instagram and I gain a pound.
I do play racquetball 6 days a week. I have a pull-up bar in my bathroom. So I'm doing 50 pull-ups, 100 push-ups every day, and then playing racquetball every day, and then blessed with a high metabolism.
Yeah. Okay. And then the second question is,
Please.
which I can't believe that I may have missed it.
The roles are reversed here. I kind of like it.
How in the world are you not leading the charge to have people setting up picket signs in front of Comcast saying, don't become a member of Comcast, you don't have the ACC network?
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
I know. Why
Tomorrow
are they
night,
not doing
Saturday
that?
night.
Right.
You cannot watch unless you get Hulu Live or YouTube. And by the way, I tried to sign on to YouTube the other day. I'm obviously not a young professional.
Well, here's a
because
trick
I
on
gave
Hulu
up.
Live. A trick on Hulu Live is you get a 7-day free trial.
That's what
Yes.
I
With
did.
every email address.
Interesting.
We have
Oh, every email
we,
address.
we have 25 emails and made it through football season with 25 different emails
Brilliant.
without
But
paying Hulu
seriously,
Live. And here's another
How
really
have
good
you
one.
not
The
used the
system.
platform?
Right. Here's-
Your platform should make Comcast crumble.
Well, here's another tip, and the Daily Progress is going to hate me for saying this. Okay, here's another life shortcut. If you go on private browser on any of your Chrome or your phone, you then
Whatever that is, by the way.
private. You know what I'm talking about? Private browser.
Yep.
You then can sidestep the paywall for the Daily Progress and read unlimited content.
Brilliant.
And another life shortcut, okay? And the city hall is really going to hate this, okay? a month of parking in the parking garage is like a bone 35. I just get 10 parking tickets a year, and they're $20 each. I park anywhere I want around Charlottesville, pay $200 a year.
Jerry's license number
I pay
is.
$200 a year, okay?
That's bold.
Parking tickets a year. That's all. All right, I want to get some rapid fire for them. All right,
Okay.
Amanda, ladies first. Okay.
Oh.
This
Ask
is a
him
tough
about
question.
the movie.
That's it. Okay. Favorite
That's an
movie.
easy one. That's an easy
when you're flipping through, you're probably streaming now, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I've cut the cord. I
Yeah.
have,
So she's not flipping through channels. Okay. So favorite movie and favorite restaurant. Favorite movie of all time and favorite restaurant in Charlottesville.
That was the
Okay.
second one I was going to ask. you.
favorite movie is a collection of movies,
Oh.
and it is my comfort movie. I will watch any of them at any time. Harry Potter,
Yeah.
hands
Nice.
down. I've reread the series multiple times. Absolute favorite. Favorite restaurant. This is tough for me.
This is tough for you. Yeah.
Because my husband runs the bar program at a restaurant.
He's a badass.
He's so great.
Seriously.
He is so good at his craft.
Yeah.
The best. And can I plug him for Best of CVille?
Please. Yeah. You can make a legitimate argument. The best in Charlottesville at what he does. I think Alec, who now went from Junction to Public,
So we are very lucky
neck and neck right there.
in this.
You're hedging right now. I'm going to go straight up and say
And
the
you
best.
didn't ask for favorite bar, you asked for favorite restaurant.
Okay. So it's one and the same because I have had the best bites of my life in the Alley Light. Like the
Wow.
ones that make you close your eyes and just like need a moment. I've had them at Alley Light.
Okay.
So thanks, guys. They're
Alley
pretty
Light.
great.
Z?
So I'm an 80s kid, so too many. The Goonies,
Love the Goonies.
E.T.
Yeah.
All of those 80s movies are just all the classics. Too many good restaurants, too. There's way too many.
You got to pick one.
Probably, I don't know.
1, 2, 3,
know.
go.
I can't think of one. There's so many. There's too many good ones.
You're going date night. You're going to drop some ducats. Where are
Right.
you going date night?
we're-
Trying to woo?
Right. We'd probably still go to Moss. Or,
Moss is great.
Yeah,
So good.
still go to Moss. Or and I still, so he's over at Quality Pie now. So I love
Tomas?
him over there.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah.
Good answer.
times.
Michael Guthrie.
Well, it's interesting you say Moss. I would say Oak Social on West Main
So
Street.
good.
And the
Yeah.
reason being is it's still small plate, which was what Dottie and I really like. But it's not, I like Moss, but I haven't been to Moss forever because I just feel like I go in and I get forced out because there are people standing in line. I feel guilty, so I can't just, whereas at Oak we can sit there and have a good conversation and stuff. But I will, just one quick other thing. Last night we had dinner at Downtown Grill. I don't go in there very often because it's fairly expensive. But I had a gift card, and we had some friends that we went to dinner with. And what I realized as a tip, going back, not as good as his tips from the city council or city of Charlottesville Daily Progress. You are in big trouble.
I can't believe I said that stuff.
Really.
I kind of regret it now.
Do not sizzle roll those, Judah. But maybe it'll just slip by. But what I realized yesterday, and this is true at IVN as well, which is if we're really going to go first class, IVN is where we would go. Downtown Grill, if you get...
love Angelo.
Love Angelo and Farrell. They're just amazing. You split a steak or split an entree, split a salad. The portions are so big that you can go in there reasonably. You can come in and come out of there reasonably, have a really nice experience. The wait staff they were amazing last night. Shout out to Andre. He was great. He just was right there when we needed him, that kind of thing. So it doesn't have to be expensive. And I think a lot of people don't go in there because they think, now, you got to be careful if you're going to drink wine, because then it can get expensive real fast. But anyway, that's just a little tip that you can go in and get an entree and a salad and then share it and be perfectly happy.
How about movie?
A movie, I'm a Shawshank Redemption guy.
That's a good one.
I love the whole aspect of it and the redemptive aspect of it. But I'm also a big Bagger Vance.
That's a great one.
Which is a great movie that was made at the Ocean Course down in Kiowa, which is still my favorite golf course I've ever played, even though I played absolutely awful. It just was an amazing experience. And I love Bagger Vance as well. So that would be my answer in there.
You're getting Amanda some props from Camille Anderson. Alley Light. Say Alley Light. Give it a like and a share.
Camille. No problem. Thanks, girl.
Favorite brewery or winery? If you're not a beer person, winery. Favorite brewery or winery in the area? I'm going to throw this to you too. Are you a beer person?
I am.
Me too.
I am. It's tricky because
there's so many good ones.
There's so many good ones.
Yeah.
You go first.
Sure. So mine are for sure South Street Brewery and Blue Mountain for sure. Obviously the same family.
Good for you.
And then Jefferson Vineyards, hands down, best meritage, I think.
You getting the Saints Pony?
I don't get the Saints Pony. I usually get the what is it? I totally just.
You're an IPA guy?
Yeah.
And how about from Blue Mountain? You getting the Full Nelson?
Full Nelson, yep.
Full Nelson's a good one.
I'm Hopwork Orange.
Hopwork Orange is a good one.
So good.
I'm putting you on the spot now.
Okay.
You try to sidestep that answer.
So
This is tough for you.
It is. It's because, we're going local. We have to stick local.
Yeah. I hope you don't say Coors Light.
Oh, God. No. Sorry, guys, that like that. I love Champion. I love their space. I really, it's not just about the beer. I love that. I do love Blue Mountain. A lot of events that I go to, they serve that exclusively, so Hopwork Orange. Winery. I love King Family.
That's a great one.
Can I share a quick story?
Oh, please.
Really quickly?
No rules here.
So when my husband and I had just started dating, we were going to go out to King Family. It was the summertime. And, drinking some Crozet.
On a blanket? Picnic?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep. But on the way there, so my parents had lived in the Middle East, and they had brought back some dates.
Okay.
And so we were in the car heading out there, and I actually had some with me. And I look over to Micah and I say, "Hey, you want a date?" And he goes, "I thought we were already doing that." And so that was on the way to King Family, and then so forever it's an emotional tie, and their wine is delicious. So gosh. King Family.
Good answer.
No doubt, as far as wine, our favorite one is the Barboursville Pinot Grigio. We really like it, and it's reasonably priced, and that's what. But as far as I would probably say Jefferson Vineyard, as far as visiting, like on a Friday night, it's not real crowded, and you can sit out in those Adirondack chairs, and a great sunset. So that's what I would say. And as far as brewery, probably Blue Mountain Brewery would be my pick too. Except you might be getting the gist of this. It just is too crowded for me most times. But the apple bratwurst pizza there is unbelievable. I would never have ordered it. My friend said, we're ordering because you won't order this. It is so good. So it does draw me back there for that.
I love it. Camille Anderson says Texas. Beck Seeger says, oh my God, I could listen and watch you guys all day. You look great, girl. Such a natural. Sermano Dina. Am I saying that right? You go, Amanda. Proud of you. Z, you're getting a ton of props on here. Andrea Yancey, welcome to the program. Last one. This has been a great show. It's been so fun. Favorite music venue in Charlottesville?
The Jefferson.
The Jefferson?
Yeah.
Wow, you said that with authority.
Yeah.
Same, yeah.
Jefferson?
Mm-hmm.
Michael?
Boy, that's a
to go Fridays?
Good one. The Pavilion would be certainly up there, but Jefferson obviously because it's just the way it is. But to go to the Paramount and sit in one of the first few rows and have Diana Ross right there on the stage or whatever, I would pick that just because the Jefferson can't house that type of
It's a different experience for sure.
And it's just what is it, 1,000 seats maybe at the most, but yeah, you can get in the second, third, fourth row and just have this experience. I remember seeing Amy Grant there with Vince
Gill?
Vince Gill.
Yeah.
It was just amazing because it was this small confine. You really felt like you were just really having a chance to see him and not having to look at the big screen and that kind of thing.
People are saying more. Guys, we've gone over an hour.
Yeah,
we have filled an hour and 8 minutes, and it's a testament to them. They crush it. Oh, you got your hand up?
Yes.
You got something to say?
Can I plug some YPN
Oh,
events?
please. Yeah.
So is this an okay time to do that?
Yes, you can do that if you want, man.
All right, so we have 2 events coming up.
Okay.
One is in October 8th. So we are going to be doing a Parade of Homes tour of, we're going to do a Keswick loop and I think a Crozet loop. So we are working with Hop On Tours.
Nice.
We'll do a morning session and an afternoon session. We'll make a couple of stops on each. You can sign up for the whole day or just a portion.
Nice.
And so the best way to find out about our events and what's going on in our group is to go to our Facebook group page. Okay. So you have to request to be invited, and so then we can approve you. So that's one of the best ways. The other is the CAR newsletter that goes out.
If you're an affiliate.
If you're a realtor or affiliate, yes. It's for both realtors and affiliates, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, it is. But you
yeah.
have to be an
So for
affiliate
everybody
to be
that's on here, being a part of our Facebook group page is the best way. So October 8th, Parade of Homes tour. The second one is going to be a broker bowl-off.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
On November 6th. So that'll be in the afternoon into the evening. And then we will wrap up our year again with an angel tree in December.
Nice. Very cool. Awesome. Anything you want?
Well, I just wanted, so AHIP is also, their house party's coming up September 20th. Castle Hill, good times all around. I think there's just a few tickets left, so definitely look at that. Shout out to our crew. Abby has actually helped us through YPN before she became the CEO of CAR. So thank you so much to Abby. Our YPN crew, Rachel, Rob, Caitlin.
Both watching now.
Jeff Hoover, Jeff Maddie, Mallory
Watching right
Napier, Allie Duarda. So obviously Amanda. Thanks so much to all those people.
I love it. A lot of
you.
folks asking where this show is going to be archived. I'm happy to provide that answer. We will archive the show in totality on ilovecville.com. We will take the audio from today's show, which was amazing, and turn it into an iTunes podcast. We'll do both by close of business today. So you can watch or you can listen. We will then take this show and syndicate it for 30 days across the I Love CVille Network, which is comprised of 17 Facebook pages, 17 Twitter accounts, a daily e-newsletter that goes out to 108,000 inboxes, and the third largest Instagram community behind UVA and the city of Charlottesville in Central Virginia. This has been an amazing show. You guys
Thank you.
have been crushing
Thank you,
it.
thank you.
Seriously, great show.
And if you're thinking about buying or selling,
Yeah.
Keith and Yonna would love to help you.
The Yes Team Realtors.
The Yes Team Realtors. They're
And
good
if you want new
folks.
construction.
They're good folks.
And if you want new construction,
Yeah.
here's your, and
If
if you
you-
need
And you need
insurance,
That's right.
insurance
If
for
you want new
home.
construction, go to Keith and Yonna and let them take you to see Amanda to help your
then
buyers
see
buy a house.
I love it. I love it. Great show today. Enjoy your morning and have a good weekend, everybody. Good stuff.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, thanks so much for having us. Yeah, good
Good
times.
job.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes,
Yes, we are going to go for it.
so thoughtful.
We're going to go real quick, guys.
Yes, please.